My neighbor Harry spent $600 last spring on fertilizer. Bags of it stacked against his garage wall like sandbags before a flood. And his tomatoes, pale, stunted, half the yield he got 10 years ago. Same soil, same seeds, more money, worse results. Meanwhile, less than 4 miles from his house, an Amish family has been farming the same quarter-acre plot since 1821. No synthetic inputs, no soil amendments from a bag, no fertilizer at all. And every single year for 2 centuries, that soil has gotten richer, darker, more alive, more productive. I stood at that garden fence, and I asked myself the same question you're probably asking right now. What do they know that we don't? The answer almost made me angry. Not because it's complicated. Because it's so simple that the moment you hear it, you'll realize the entire $32 billion fertilizer industry depends on you never figuring it out. Because halfway through this video, I'm going to show you something that happens underground, something visible to the naked eye, that will completely change how you understand soil. Most gardeners never see it in their lifetime. You're about to. Let's go back to 1840. A German chemist named Justus von Liebig published a paper that would become the founding document of modern agriculture. He proved in a laboratory that plants need nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium to grow. 3 elements. NPK. He called it the law of the minimum. The nutrient present in the smallest amount limits growth. Add the missing nutrient, plant grows faster. The science was real. The application was catastrophic. Because what von Liebig said in the laboratory and what agriculture did with that discovery were 2 completely different things. Von Liebig himself, by the end of his life, wrote that industrial fertilization was destroying the natural cycle of soil fertility. He watched it happen. He tried to warn people. Nobody listened. By 1900, synthetic nitrogen production had begun. By 1950, it had replaced the entire tradition of soil building that farming communities, including the Amish, had spent generations perfecting. And the brilliance of the synthetic fertilizer system from a business perspective is this: it works. It works fast. It works visibly. And then it stops working. And you need more. Here is what they never put on the bag. Every time you apply synthetic nitrogen to your soil, you create a spike, a burst of available nutrients that plants absorb rapidly. But that spike has a cost. It kills bacteria. Not all bacteria. Specifically, the bacteria that make nitrogen available naturally. The ones that have been cycling nutrients through soil for 400 million years without any human help. You're replacing a living system with a chemical injection. And like any living system that gets replaced by a chemical shortcut, it atrophies. It weakens. It disappears. And then you need more fertilizer next year. And more the year after that. Harry isn't buying fertilizer because his soil needs it. Harry is buying fertilizer because fertilizer already destroyed his soil's ability to feed itself. Now here's the part that stopped me cold. The Amish knew this. Not in scientific language. Not in peer-reviewed papers. They knew it the way farmers know things, through observation, through inheritance, through 200 years of watching what happens when you farm one way versus another. And they found something, not something they invented, something that was always there, something that has been in the soil beneath your feet your entire life, working silently, waiting for someone to stop poisoning it. It is called mycorrhizal fungi. And here is where I need you to lean in. Mycorrhizae are not rare. They are not exotic. They are present in nearly every healthy soil on Earth. These fungi form a physical network, threads thinner than a human hair, spreading outward from plant roots in every direction. Under a single mature tree, that network can stretch for acres. Under a healthy garden bed, it connects every plant to every other plant in a web of shared resources. Now here's what makes this astonishing. Plants feed this network. On purpose. A plant will send 20 to 40% of the sugars it produces through photosynthesis directly into the soil as food for mycorrhizal fungi. Not accidentally. Deliberately. Because in exchange, those fungi retrieve water and minerals from soil pores too small for roots to reach. They bring phosphorus from 200 feet away. They carry distress signals between plants under attack by insects, a warning system that travels through the ground. They improve soil structure so radically that a teaspoon of healthy soil contains more living organisms than there are humans on Earth. This is not folklore. This has been documented by universities, by NASA, by the USDA. And synthetic nitrogen fertilizer destroys it. The nitrogen spike doesn't just feed your plants. It tells the plant it doesn't need the fungi anymore. The plant stops feeding the network. The fungi collapse. The underground infrastructure, built over decades, over centuries, unravels in a single season. This is what happened to Harry's soil, not once, every year for 20 years. The Amish secret is not a secret at all. It is the oldest farming practice on Earth, and it is this: feed the soil, not the plant. The Amish compost everything, not in a pile they tend occasionally. In a living system they rotate through their garden beds every single season. Kitchen waste, wood ash, spent plant material, animal manure aged through the winter, layered, turned, returned to the ground. But the critical step, the one most people skip, is what they don't do. They do not till, not deeply, not with machinery, not in a way that breaks the structure that mycorrhizae spend years building. They scratch the surface. They disturb the top inch. They plant into undisturbed ground beneath. And here's the plot twist that explains everything. The reason modern gardening advice tells you to till is that tilling works for the first season. Freshly tilled soil is loose, airy, warm. Seeds germinate fast. Crops look vigorous. You feel productive. And then the second year is slightly worse. And the third worse still. And you keep tilling because that's what fixed it last time, not realizing the tilling is the problem. The Amish stopped tilling deeply 2 centuries ago, not because someone told them to, because they watched what happened to their neighbor's soil, and they chose differently. That garden I stood at the fence looking into. I want to tell you what I saw in the soil when the farmer walked me through it. He pushed a hand trowel in with almost no effort. 6 inches. No resistance. Dark as coffee grounds, and threaded through it visible fine white threads running through the soil like a vein system. Mycorrhizal mycelium, alive, intact, running from plant to plant in every direction. 200 years of that network, undisturbed, growing stronger every season. Harry's soil crumbled when you picked it up. Gray-brown, compacted, dead. Same county, same rainfall, same sun, same air. The difference is not luck or land. The difference is 200 years of feeding a system versus 200 years of replacing one. You cannot buy what that Amish garden has. You can only build it. And the building starts the moment you put the fertilizer bags down and let the soil remember what it already knows how to do. The knowledge has been here the whole time, under your feet, waiting. The only question is how many more seasons you hand it over to an industry that profits from keeping you in the dark. If this opened something for you, subscribe. And share this with someone who's been pouring money into a garden that keeps getting worse. The soil doesn't need saving. It needs to be left alone.